From the station that made country music famous, 650 AM WSM, this is a Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. Hi, it's Charlie Mattos, and in this episode we sit down with Craig Morgan. This was recorded January 27th of 2020. Craig was hosting a new show on Circle Television, Craig's World. We would talk about that. We would talk about the incredible emotional journey as well of the Father, my Son, and the Holy Ghost. Enjoy our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast.
You were the most played song in 2005 with that song, is that right?
I think so.
And who did you beat out? You sometimes mention it to the Grand Ole
I just
Opry.
like to say it because I beat Tim McGraw and Kenny Chesney and all the guys that think they're so important.
Ladies and
I'm just kidding.
Welcome, Craig Morgan. It's Craig's World. It really is. Not only on Coffee, Country, and Cody.
I'm just kidding, man.
But I like the part in your show where you go, and the audience doesn't respond to your like, and go, what? What, am I at a Blake Shelton show?
Yeah.
What's the deal?
Yeah.
Craig's World is new to the Circle Television lineup, as is Coffee, Country, and Cody. We launched on January 1, and Vince Gill came in and sat about where you're sitting right now and was our first ever guest. He said he was like on the first day of TNN. He was a guest.
Wow.
So he just felt it was appropriate. And rebirthing this with Ryman Hospitality, of course, formerly Gaylord Entertainment.
Yes.
And Gray TV, that joint venture that he joined us on that first day. So
He is a legend. He has become a legend.
So tell me about Craig's World, the television show.
It's dumb.
In what way?
We just do dumb stuff.
Like a Coffee Country Cody kind of way? Or
Well, not that dumb, Joe.
Ironically enough, we just do what we do.
Yeah, exactly.
And they film us. The show really revolves around how I conduct business and family and all of the things that we do in spite of me being who I am as an entertainer, you know.
Yeah.
Because, this occupation is different than most anything else I've ever done in my life. So, and with it comes notoriety, and so you can't do certain things that you used to could. You know, it's just that simple.
And you were doing a similar sort of thing on another television network.
We were. We had another show called Morgan Family Strong, and it was the same thing. It just revolves around my family and myself doing. We have a business in Dixon called the Gallery at Morgan Farms. I have numerous other things going on in my life, and it's just as an entertainer, it's hard to run multiple business because entertainment is my business too. That's my primary business. That's what I do. I'm a singer,
without that, all
songwriter.
these other things can't happen.
That's right. That's right. So, and I have a very fascinating and wonderful family that's supportive and does their own things. Some of which come about because of this.
Fascinating, supporting like your wife Karen, who is upset, as I understand it, at present because you booked a show on the day of the family reunion.
Extremely angry.
Yeah.
is this on the show?
I slept on the couch.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, man. Did
It's
they
a
get
really
this on
nice
camera
couch,
for
though.
the thing?
I know now why she bought a nice couch.
So,
For you.
So when I got mad, I wouldn't leave. You know? No, I'm just kidding.
so where was the miscommunication in
It was no
booking?
miscommunication on my part. It's all her.
Okay.
I promise you.
Okay.
I booked the show. It just hit her last night that it was on a
no.
special night. So this is the thing is we have our family.
Your side of the family or her side of the family?
On my side.
Okay.
And I have a very, very large family. There'll probably be 30, 40 people there.
Okay.
At the family reunion. And we're doing it in Florida this year. And we're wearing the family reunion shirts and the whole bit, you know. But she, and I probably shouldn't tell this, but she got we booked I booked the show, and when I booked the show at the time, I didn't realize it was on the night of the graduation of Marshall University, which is the college that Jerry was going to. So we were having a big thing to celebrate. Jerry's proposed. Had he been here still, he would be graduating on that Saturday. So I didn't realize it. I didn't, and I don't think that's the problem. She didn't realize it that when I said I booked this show on Saturday, and I'm going to take my bus, and it's going to stop and pick us up, and it'll pick up anybody who wants to go to the show. It's right down the road. We'll do the show, and we'll come right back, the next morning. No big deal.
Okay, is she madder now than she was when you snuck off and you told her you wouldn't sneak off and go bush hog and do outdoor things without somebody with you, and then a big tree limb hit you in the face while you were bush hogging and cracked your nose, and you couldn't cover it up, first of all, because it's on your nose, and then you show up at the Opry, and you got this oozing flesh wound, and you had to admit to the Opry audience what had happened that day.
Much worse, because she had some sympathy for me in that one.
Oh, yeah.
She has no sympathy for me here.
There was a wound involved. Yeah, okay. All right.
If you get hurt in the process, you get a little sympathy.
As people are watching, they can see a tattoo on your arm there with the red, white, and blue and the stars and stripes. And one of the most heartfelt things I've ever been involved in my 25 years at WSM was climbing on a bus after the Opry one night and going to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and doing a USO. Of course, this is a stateside tour for me. You've done many overseas tours as well. But to wake up the next morning at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, where the Wright brothers learned to fly before they went to Kitty Hawk, and taking the Grand Ole Opry to the troops and their families.
It's my favorite. That I had been working on that trip and that concept for years, trying to get the two together, because the relationship, in my opinion, the morals and the image awareness and standing that both the USO and the Grand Ole Opry have are one and the same. It's the same people. Very pro-American, regardless of your political standing, supporting the military and the concept of lifestyle and giving and caring. They both share that. And why they had not ever been put together up to this point was beyond me. So that was the first time that we did that, and I think people will see in the future, on Craig's World especially, they'll see more of that. And my objective is to take that overseas with guys like Charlie Daniels and some of the other Opry members, and go do the Grand Ole Opry USO show overseas.
Any idea how many times you've been overseas to play for the troops?
I have no idea. Total. I mean, I know we've done a total of, in Iraq and Afghanistan, I think we've done 15 of those alone. And that don't count, Germany and other places in the world, Greece, Spain.
Are you in harm's way on any of these trips?
We have been, yeah. When we were in, I have footage when we were in, I want to say Iraq. It may have been Afghanistan. We were on stage when mortar rounds and missile fire came in. My guitar player fell to the stage as if falling down was going to stop him from getting hit, which was really cute. And I just kept singing.
Obviously a long-time military man.
Yeah. And we just kept playing, and we really had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
But I knew when a lot of people got up and took off running from the audience that it was a little more serious than even I had given it credit to be.
If you just joined us, that's Craig Morgan, that unmistakable laugh of his too. It's craigmorgan.com on the World Wide Web. And you're getting ready to roll out talking about touring. We're seeing February 7th in Canton, Ohio. February the 8th, you'll be in Lexington, Kentucky. The 11th, Jackson, Mississippi's Mississippi Coliseum. Then Milwaukee. You're going to be in Pennselsvania, Arizona, North Carolina. So it's 2020. Here it is. How much time do you take off over Christmas? Thanksgiving, Christmas, or the New Year?
I like to take off, the month of December. We might do one or two shows early in December. This year, I had the great privilege of being with Trace Atkins on the Christmas show here, which was a lot of fun. That was kind of neat. But we try to take December and some of January. I work just enough in November, December, and January, and even in February, really, just to make the guys happy. Yeah. Keep them busy. Some of those guys, they'd rather work than sleep, or play than sleep. So, but, February's that's our Alaska month. So.
Grand Ole Opry star Craig Morgan on Coffee, Country, and Cody and Circle Television.
Coffee, Country, and Cody on WSM.
And it's Craig's world. We're just living in it. Craig Morgan is here, and he is new in February on Circle Television. Country plays here, and if you want to know where the affiliates are in your market areas, you should listen on WSMOnline.com or the app download, or here at home on 650 AM. Just type in your zip code at WSMOnline.com, and it will tell you that. The new song, the single that has changed your life so dramatically since the death of your son, Jerry, Well, I know you wanted to share this backstory, but we were talking about Valentine's Day approaching. Here it is, 3 weeks away?
Yeah, we go to Alaska. We have a place up there, and every year Karen and I go up there.
How long have you had it?
5 or 6 years.
Have you really?
Yeah, and but the most special, I think, why she really loves it is we had the privilege of naming that lake. It's on a little private lake. We land on a float plane in the summer and snow machine in the winter. But we got to name that lake after our son Jerry. So it's actually Jerry Lake that we get to go to every year. So. Pretty special.
I would love for you, if it's not too emotional, to recount the night you did this at the Opry and what Ricky Skaggs told you as you were coming off stage and you had trouble getting through it.
I had only ever done it in public one time before at a writer's thing, and I didn't finish it then. I didn't even get I barely finished the first verse and chorus. So at the Opry that night, I decided I wanted to try to do it again just to see if I could do it, and I barely got through it. And I remember walking off stage, and Ricky Skaggs was standing there, and Ricky, kind of hugged me, and he said, "Man, that is the most beautiful song." I said, "Well, thank you, Ricky. I'm glad you got to hear it, because I don't think I'll ever do it again." And I'll never forget, he grabbed me and pulled me real close, and he had tears in his eyes, and I'd been crying a little bit, and he said, "You have to do that song. You have to. You have no choice. It's what you're supposed to do." And it really stuck with me, because I realized as much as it hurt, he was right. That's what God wanted me to do. And so that's what I do.
And it took multiple times of performing it to be able to get all the way through it.
Yeah, there's still nights that I do it. And it's weird, because in some of these audiences, you're a big fair and festival, and it's really loud, and it seems odd to try to do that type of a song in that environment. But I always know that, like Ricky said, there's somebody that needs to hear that song, so I do it. Yeah. And inevitably, there's somebody there that gets extremely emotional, and they're holding up a sign with the picture of their child that they lost, and I know that that's the person that was supposed to hear it that night. But those are the things that make it really difficult, because it just washes over you.
And you were awakened from a deep sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Being told that you need to get up and write this down, or you won't remember it.
3:30 in the morning that night. I woke up early that morning, and it hit me. I was actually reciting the some of the chorus in my head, and normally I just write that kind of stuff down, go back to sleep, and I wish I could tell you why, but I got up, and I very seldom do this, as much as I love writing. But I went downstairs with the guitar, and 4 hours later I was finished. Mm-hmm. The way we hear it now.
People of faith would call that the Holy Spirit.
It was, for sure, no doubt in my mind. God wrote that song through me. I mean, I've written a lot of stuff, and it wasn't nothing like that. That was him. It was all God.
Craig Morgan, Coffee, Country, and Cody, 650 AM WSM radio all over the world, and Circle Television. The Father, my Son, and the Holy Ghost. Craig Morgan, there's one for all time. Craig's in studio this morning, and Craig is new on Circle Television with Craig's World, but you've got a Blake Shelton connection to that song that people may not know.
Yeah, we released it to iTunes, and we took off to Alaska, our place in Alaska. Karen and I did. And I had sent it to Blake a month before we released it to iTunes, literally like right after I recorded it, just because I wanted him to hear it. He's a good friend, and Blake lost a brother, and I knew he would have some sense of relation, but never heard nothing from him, so I didn't think nothing about it until I got into Alaska, and I started getting all these messages from everybody telling me that Blake had tweeted about the song, and that's really what created the storm of downloads, and it became the most downloaded song of all genres.
Wow!
Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Thanks to Blake.
Yeah, you said, well, I remember him famously saying he would gladly give up his number one spot to see you.
Yeah, and again, he was saying all this stuff unbeknownst to me, because I didn't have any service.
But the most recent communication you had with him, because he was like a month later.
I sent him a picture of something. I was on a hunt, and he didn't even respond to the picture. And it had been a month before, and he responded to the song, and I had no idea what he was even talking about, because it had been so long.
Send him a picture of an elk, he gets a response to the song.
Yeah.
The Life of Blake Shelton.
Coffee, Country, and Cody.
WSMOnline.com, our app download here at home in Nashville at 650 AM WSM, and Circle Television is our TV home since January 1, 2020, when Vince Gill came to see us. Craig Morgan came to see us this morning in February. You'll see him in Craig's World all over Circle Television. Circle All Access for anything that links to Circle, social media, website, and beyond. Joe, you had a question, a social media question for Craig?
Breaking news. Eric in production, who's also our Dolly whiz, our Dolly challenge wizard, he has created Craig a Dolly challenge, and I'd like to present that to him now. It's pretty good. I like it.
You might want to describe it for the radio audience. Otherwise, on television, they can, oh, there you are, up there, top right.
Yeah, there it is. LinkedIn, looking super professional. Got it together. Facebook, he went the family route on Facebook, which is great. Instagram, it's the elk that you sent the picture to Blake Shelton, I believe. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think that's the point of Instagram, is how cool can you be? And then Tinder. There you are. Look at that. It looks like an award show. Is that an award show photo?
Yeah, my wife.
You and your wife.
You and Karen looking lovey-dovey.
And
but I shouldn't have her with me on Tinder. I don't people think we're swingers or something.
Well,
isn't that what a Tinder is?
I think
Isn't that where people hook up overnight and stuff?
That's exactly what it is.
It is, Craig, but I think if you put your person in there, it means I'm taken.
Oh, okay.
I'm not available for it means you're taken.
Some of my guys that are on Tinder, and I've seen what they're, some of my band guys, and I just question that app, altogether.
Well, Carly Pierce put a picture, a wedding photo with her and Michael Ray, and put not Tinder on there. So we can add a not Tinder to
we need to add a not Tinder.
We're good.
Grammys were last night. Were you ever Grammy nominated? Have you been?
No. But
well, why not?
Rude.
I guess we just didn't have enough money to pay for it. I'm kidding. I don't know. I wasn't. Maybe I have not been Grammy worthy.
I dispute that because what I love about Sunday, I remember where I was when I heard that for the first time, and then I couldn't hear it enough in Berry Hill. I had just moved to Nashville, and I was cruising around Berry Hill, and I just ground 35 cents off a ground round. Is that it? It was. Ugh.
Honey, clip that coupon out.
Uh-huh.
I love because my mother called them coupons.
Yeah,
she's from Alabama, cotton fields, coupons, clipping them coupons. But when you mentioned clipping that coupon out, Craig Morgan, if you just joined us on Coffee, Country, and Cody, I couldn't help but think, knowing you were coming, Craig, about Kobe and his family and where they are and what you share in common now. You never thought you would with stories
it's a horrible thing to be a part of that group. It saddens my heart so much for the rest of his family, his wife in particular. It's hard enough to lose a child. It's almost beyond comprehension. It's something that never goes away. It's every day, and it will be for the rest of our lives, and it will be for the rest of her life. But not only she lost her child, she lost the one person in her life that could really be there with her and for her and comprehend to her extent. And that's her spouse. So she's got to get through this with the other family who don't have the same relationship with their children, and having lost a child, now she has to do that without him as well. It's just almost incomprehensible.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't mind me asking, did you and Karen, did you have to have therapy? Are you still doing that? Do you recommend that?
No, man, our therapy's God. We have a lot of faith. So we pray a lot. I mean, that's really it for us. And we have each other, like I'm saying. And the one person that knows my pain is my wife. No one else knows my pain like she does.
Sure.
And it's even a little different for each of us. I tell people all the time, we don't know even though you may have lost a child, I don't know your pain because your relationship's different than my relationship was, and even my wife's. But the only person that comes close to knowing it is the parent and the other parent. So, our therapy has been prayer. We just pray a lot, man. I depend on God wholeheartedly, and I don't believe for 1 second that God did this to us. I don't believe that God did this to Kobe now. I believe the devil does this. I understand he was a very faithful person, and she must be as well. And God must have a lot of confidence in her faith to allow the devil to do something so horrendous.
Craig Morgan, Coffee, Country, and Cody on 650 AM WSM. I'm curious as we close with That's What I Love About Sunday. Did you grow up church, folks?
Yeah, my whole life.
Yeah. Where'd you go?
Man, I was a Baptist my whole life. I'm a recent Catholic convert, which surprises a lot of people.
Woo! yeah.
Well, there's also a man that made it from Kingston Springs to Dixon in his lifetime.
Oh, good. We lose
Well,
it.
I mean, it's just it's just education is all it is. All Christians are Catholic. Some of them just don't know it yet.
Well, now I'm the resident Catholic on the show, and I tell people, Bill, the beauty of it is, we have the Pope, and he tells you what to do, and you do about half of it, and it works really well that way, So,
Okay, I'm going to close with this. Top story in Us Magazine. Gwen Stefani is ready to tie the knot with Blake Shelton, even if her earlier marriage to rocker Gavin Rossdale isn't annulled by the Catholic Church. Blake, according to the story, is becoming restless, Craig. Restless.
That's so funny.
I knew that was coming.
Restless.
And the issue is causing tense moments.
Well, sure, they're in love, and that's important to her. She is a Catholic. I think the church will annul this based on everything that's happened with her and her relationship. Because, well, first of all, it wasn't the church didn't approve of that marriage. So, based on the catechism and all the rules of marriage in Christianity in general, but Blake's got to get together. He's got to.
Gwen wants a baby and will marry Blake even without the church's blessing. That is the headline.
It's a bunch of.
The unnamed source also predicts a church ceremony in Beverly Hills, followed by a party at Blake's Oklahoma Ranch.
What in the world?
Well, I do know he built a most beautiful chapel on his place in Oklahoma. That's just absolutely
Outside
gorgeous.
of Tishomingo there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. And I know her. She's a wonderful, beautiful soul. I love that woman to death. Me and my wife both we just love her, and she is a very devout Catholic. She loves her faith, loves her God, and she loves Blake. So, we'll see.
I got tickled. We were in Tishomingo doing the opening of Old Red, and I said, why didn't you move back to Ada and buy some property? He said, too close. I said, what do you mean too close? He said, they can drop by after work.
Yeah.
Said, I'm just inconvenient enough. They just won't drop by Tishomingo after work.
You know what? It's going to be. I think this is one will last. They are really in love with each other.
Sure seem to
He's
be.
kind of silly though. I mean, he looks like a little 12-year-old most time he's around her. You can't let go of her hand. And stuff.
Thank you for getting up and coming in this morning, and all the best on the TV show
Thank you,
Craig's
buddy.
World on Circle TV.
Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. Our digital program director is Jay Patrick. Our digital producer is Haley Hall. Marketing and promotions director, Nicole A. Judd. General manager of 650 AM WSM is Chris Kulik. I'm Charlie Mattos. We'll see you next time on our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast.